Can you just tell us sort of what the emphasis early in the week will be here and what you guys are up to?
It's health and development. That's what we're working on. We've got some good workouts in, and today was our first practice, and guys came out. Good energy, but we got to work. We got to get healthy for some guys, and there's other guys that got to work development. So
is it pretty much the same approach you used for the first?
Similar, yeah, similar, but just different people. Everybody's got their own plan. So yeah, they fit into one of those two categories though.
I'm not sure how much you can speak to this, but have you found a common thread between some of the health issues that you guys have had this year? Or?
No, we look at that each and every year, and yeah, you always look for. I mean, there's acute injuries that are going to be tough to pinpoint, but we look at certain things, soft tissue and those type of things that we hopefully can have control the best we can. In the end, there's not a 100% answer to keep your team free from injury, but we do everything we can in terms of training and self-scout and looking for best practice across the board to make sure. We'll do that every year. We'll continue to do that, no matter if we have, a lot of injuries or not many. We'll do that every year.
What's your expectations for getting some of these guys back for WSU?
Again, this week we'll know a little bit more if there's specific ones. I know, did we hand out? You guys got the list? Kyle, they need the list. So we'll hand that out, but we should have, again, some of the week-to-week guys. Nico. Yep. Devon, Nico, Mike Safel. Who are the other ones that you're asking?
Jeremiah,
Ricky Walker, Kekoa. Yep.
That's the list. Right?
There's the list.
Nothing new on Chase Govers?
Nothing. His rehabilitation's going well, but there's just, he has to get cleared by the doctors, and he's doing a lot of work on it, that's for sure.
So he hasn't been cleared to practice?
No.
Coach, tough loss on Saturday night. How would you assess the way that your team has come out and responded, at least in terms of meetings and practice?
Our guys, they're resilient, and we got good people on our team. Anytime you go through a game like that where you just, really we didn't do anything well, and you have to give the other team credit, but we didn't do anything well. Those are really difficult and extremely frustrating, but you have to move on from them and you can't forget them. I mean, that's a fine line, and we talked about that in our meetings with them. But there's a lot to learn, and you gotta own those and eat it and learn from it and move on.
What was it going in? Were you confident? Could you see that the team was prepared and things like that? What was your attitude at the start of the game?
Going to win the game. I mean, you do that every week. I mean, if you're not confident walking into the stadium that you're going to go and perform at your best and win the game, you might as well not show up. I mean, if you're a competitive person and you're involved in athletics, whether it's football or any other sport, if you show up with any other mentality than we're going to go out there and do whatever we can do to win the game, then you should stop being involved with athletics.
Offensively, you've had so many guys beat up, shorthanded at the line, receiver, quarterback, but defensively, I think you're mostly intact, and that's harder to understand what's happened to you there. When you sort of diagnose what's going on defensively, what do you come up with?
Well, I mean, this past game?
Yeah, and even the last game before this, you weren't happy with the end, obviously.
Yeah, the game before against Oregon State, we had 3 really poor drives. You had to give them some credit too. They earned some plays in there where they just beat us. The performance was not good enough to win. There were some really good moments during that game, but overall the performance wasn't good enough to win. Did I think it was an awful, terrible performance? Probably not fair to say that, but we needed to stop them one more drive than we did. Okay, against Utah, I think we got out physical, we got outran. The other team didn't make many mistakes, and we didn't tackle well at all. I think the yards after contact were about 150 plus, and so the pile was constantly moving the other direction. They beat us in man coverage, they beat us in zone. If we zoned them, we had a hard time getting to the quarterback. If we manned them, we had a hard time matching up. And so I think there was a combination of things. It wasn't one thing. So I think, throughout that game, it became evident that, we got out physical and we got outran.
Coach, offensive line's been having a lot of banged up bodies as well, a lot of shuffling around. How would you say that they've held up so far? In the
I think
wake
they're doing.
of,
I'm sorry,
No,
I didn't
sorry,
mean to
go
cut
ahead.
you off.
Just to say, like in the wake of some of the injuries that we talked
I think they're
about.
doing the best they can, and we're going to continue to push them and hold them accountable. And it's our job to give those guys coaching points and teach them what to do. And so I appreciate their work ethic, and they're out here trying to get better. And I appreciate that about them. We just got to continue to improve.
Is this a situation where you're still a growing program, and ideally at some point down the road you'll have enough depth to deal with this kinds of injuries that you know are kind of hurting you right now?
How do you want me to answer that? Are we a growing program?
Well,
I think we're.
Yeah, I mean, a year or two from now, when you've got a little bit more of your program established, do you think you'll be able to overcome this kind of injury adversity?
Well,
better than
I
you
would
are
say we're
now?
always, every day we should be growing as a program. Injuries happen; it's part of the game. Those are somewhat, like we were talking about, out of our control. So what we spend our time and energy on are things within our control, and that's how we come out here and try and improve. I think every program out there would like more depth. I've never heard of anybody saying we have too much. And so we're going to continue to build our depth through recruiting and development. And if we do that and things happen, then hopefully you have the difference between the ones and the twos, or the ones and twos and threes the margins become smaller and smaller. But again, I think we don't sit around worrying about what's happened. We try to go out and recruit the best players we can, develop the guys on our team to build our program to be as good as it can be, and that's what we spend our time doing.
You guys got to play plenty of those younger guys at the end on Saturday. How do you think some of them held up, like Chiggy and Evan Tattersall and Jade Chevis?
It was good for them to get some reps. I mean, Chiggy's played a few reps throughout the season. Evan has had a few as well. I think those are valuable for him. It was nice to see him make a couple plays, but I wouldn't say we gleaned a ton from that. Yeah.
I got an important question for you. I saw on these musical preferences of coaches around the area. I saw you had the Boss. As your
What are you
man.
talking about?
Bruce Springsteen. You had these preferences. Of
Oh yeah, they asked for 3 weeks. Huge Springsteen fan. That's a hard question though. It's like, what's your favorite movie? Springsteen, Led Zeppelin. There's a bunch. That was a hard one for me.
Yeah.
I'm a music fan, but that was a difficult one. But
You've
he's
seen the
tough.
Boss in concert?
I have. Oh yeah,
How many times?
a couple. Yeah, really good.
Favorite song?
Favorite song? I would say that's a good question. Another difficult one.
Okay.
That's hard. That's a tough one. Yeah, I
If
don't
it's
know.
Born to Run, then you're pushing about your ground gamers.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I wouldn't. Yeah, nothing to. Yeah, I don't know.
Tough bi-week questions.
Yeah.
I waited till
Understandable.
the end.
Yeah. Okay.
How you guys?
On that high note.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.